to come to this year's General Assembly, because it's a great honor for Ball packaging, and of course in general, which means food cans, aerosols and so on. But in Europe we are producing metal beverage packaging, and the point was that out of steel and aluminium cans there may be a good relation for cooperation with TAFISA, which means sport and environment, and environmental behavior, which means does sport care for environment, or what can we do to make sport events a bit more environmental friendly, to raise awareness and something like this. So thinking about cooperation was really the core point where we started our discussions, and we appreciated the cooperation at first sight, to be honest, because the principle of TAFISA's principle of health, of activity, of resource-efficient way of living fits perfectly in Ball Corporation's activity. Our way of thinking how business can be run. Ball is committed to sustainability already a long time, and not only since this word is in some kind, this term is in some kind of inflation areas. We, for example, publish our third sustainability report already next year. And because beverage metal cans, is an energy-intense material, and so we are working in an energy-intense industry, we are devoted to energy resource-efficient way of producing. Our vision is balancing economic, environmental, and social outcome and impact of our decision-making and of our activities in a way that we produce a long-term shared value for all our stakeholders as well as the Ball Corporation. So we assume this approach to recycling programs, to recycling in general, to raise awareness, to include recycled material in our production loop. This approach was a very good basis for a cooperation with TAFISA. And so we thought it is a good start to think about some projects to do together and to see what will be the outcome of it. Therefore, it didn't cost a long time to come to the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding last November. And the overlapping core values that I just recently described, I think, was a good basis and made it easy to come to some projects and to see whether it works or whether not. What I'd like to do now is to present to you these 4 projects we started last year and to share with you the outcome, the benefits and the fruits. We started in Poland and in Serbia. These 2 countries are the countries where Ball operates already with a operational collecting environmental active companies, and also with some foundations destined to environmental programs by education, school programs, also in kindergarten and even other social aspects and areas. The first project we started was called Sports Protects Environment. It was a draw competition for kids to design a big money box that was can-shaped. The idea was how the kids imagine sport activity and environment should fit together. It was of course a joint promotion of physical activity and environmental responsibility. It was a very well accepted program and a very accepted project. It started in April last year and finished in November. Of course it was patronized by the Ministry of Sports and Tourism of Poland. It was well accepted. It got also already some kind of governmental acceptance and recognition. We received 786, more or less 800 works. And with the next slide I'm able to show you the winning picture, which is some cyclists carrying a can as a backpacker, which means not throw it away, but carry it to a place which is valuable where you can put it into the loop. We introduced a lot of information to the kids, a lot of information about recycling. For example, that a bicycle frame can be made out of up to 100% of recycled material. And in the end, this picture, this winning picture, was printed on a can, and the can was distributed to all the participating schools, to the kids, and they had a lot of fun with it, of course. The next project in Poland was called Best Practice in Sport and Environment. Here it is closely linked and related to sports clubs, sports schools and media. It should point out how sport activities can, from a conceptual idea, closely linked to environment. How to exercise sport, integrating already ideas of environmental friendly behavior. It's also well accepted, also patronized by the Ministry of Sports, with governmental attention there, which is very important and very necessary to get governmental attention on very first stage. And so we received a lot of projects and practices. It's not yet finished the project. We have 7 best practices into the closer circle of decision making, and within this quarter of 2011 we will publish and disclose the best project, which is the best connection of doing sports, taking environmental activities into account. The other country we did our 2 projects was Serbia. There we had a brand-related and closely sport-related activity. The brand-related activity was the Coca-Cola bicycle race in Belgrade. The bicycle race is a 10-kilometer race organized in Belgrade. It is the core focus of finding an environmental friendly way of transporting in a dense populated city. Beforehand of this sport event, there were a lot of TV appearances in the Serbian television, and within this TV spots we showed and promoted the recycling activities by showing a bicycle that was made out of 100% recycled material, recycled aluminium. This event, this race, was accompanied by a so-called environmental activity, collecting activity of beverage cans, of all the metal beverage and other beverage materials that were used during this recycling trip. 15 so-called ambassadors were caring about the material, put it back into the cycle loop, so that in the end the project goal was exercising, some sport events, and also showing how to organize a sport event, being environmental friendly, taking care of what is going on while the event is running. So here you see, for example, one of the Coca-Cola, an old-fashioned, there should be a laser pointer on here. Is it this one? Does somebody know? No. Sorry, careful. Be careful. So I'm not the only one, that's what you said. And what is that?
Hello? Any help, please?
No. Oops. This is the laser pointer, at least. This was the old-fashioned bicycle. Here you see the bicycle made out of 100% recycled material. Oh, I know, this is the one. Yeah, and this one here. Thank you very much. And this is the recycling ambassadors. They use their trikes for collecting the material, which these people and assistants just try to put in. So this was a very well accepted project in Serbia. Excuse me?
The big one on the left side.
The big one, yeah, this is the old-fashioned, some kind of an old-fashioned bicycle here you see, and these are all used cans, used beverage cans that were collected during this sport event. So it was, of course, very well accepted here. So next, last but not least, project in Serbia was the part of the Challenge Day, which is the TAFISA Challenge Day, and it was called Basket for a Clean City in the Serbian city of Sokobanja. The point was here to promote the anti-littering awareness. Don't use the can, drink it, use the beverage, whatever it is, and just leave it as it is, but put it back into the right bin, which means put it into the right basket, which is part of the project here. It is promoting anti-littering and making aware that you can behave environmental friendly while doing sport or doing other activities. As you see here, this is the event, and this has been the event here. So kids here put it in here, and they were educated, were informed about putting it in the right bin means saving value, saving material. Kids were interviewed as well, and they gave their imagination and their idea of what has been taken part. So, all in all, the projects were, from our point of view, very positive. And out of all these projects, we became convinced that the positive image of sport supports our business as well. We can align understanding and doing business perfectly with people that exercise sport. Those people strive for good physical conditions by using the individual resources in a most properly way. And this is the way we understand doing business as well. We try to use our resources as well as most properly and do it because we try to keep our environmental surrounding in best conditions. So this overlaps and fits very good. Therefore, cooperation is supposed to improve, from our point of view, the recognition of image for both parties, TAFISA and all. And it allows a broader access to a special, in particular, network for our business and TAFISA's business, as well as decision makers. It's a unique opportunity for us, to be honest, to integrate our message into active people's life. It is sustainable because our message comes along with a positive feeling of people that do care for themselves. And in this positive stance, in this general positive stance, people are most open to accept, from a burden point of view, a more burdensome behavior. But this is a way for all to show our social responsibility, because we do care for raising awareness within doing sport. This especially optimistic attitude of sport spills over to environmental friendly behavior and improves environmental awareness. So in order to develop our successful cooperation further on, we could expect future projects to follow. But the main point should be we shall continue to deliver clear and simple messages, easy to execute and easy to follow, nevertheless serving immediate positive rewards for the individual and for the environment itself. So for that I would like to propose to go on in 2012 and beyond with two new projects to propose from our point of view. The one should be named Clean Alp Networks. It could be rolled out to all the Alpine countries in Europe. It should combine trekking or walking while taking care for environmental, for litter or something else. So you combine physical activity and environmental awareness, friendliness. And the other one is closely related to Poland. It is called the Orlik's project. Orlik, I'm not Polish, unfortunately, don't speak it very good, but Orlik is some kind of a small little eagle. And this small little eagle is meant to be a public sport field. And the Polish administration is going to plan a rollout of these public sports fields, 1,800 sports fields like that, all over Poland. And we try to discuss and we propose to implement a separate collection scheme on these level playing fields, on these sport fields, where these clubs and teams that are going to do their exercise, do their sports, football, basketball, whatever it is, to bring back their packaging material and to get their financial value of the material. So it is some kind of cash for environmental friendly behavior, and how to organize not yet quite clear, but maybe we add something and we match some of the financial sum of the volume, and so these teams can get financial support for buying trickles, for buying balls, buying sport equipment, whatever it is. So it should be a good opportunity to start environmental friendly behavior linked to your own playing field where you do your exercise. So this was more or less my presentation. I would like to close with a word of a German poet who said, we have a bright future in front of us because we know what we did in the past. And so I think we could add to this and start working further on. Thank you very much. Thank you.